Don't settle for fakes. My duel-taining is the real deal.
Hey everyone, it's mekklord, and this is my ban list, wishlist slash prediction. I guess it's 50-50? I'm not sure yet. Oh, we'll see. There's a bunch of decks worth talking about, so without further ado, let's start with orcust! Orcust's been the talk of the town and the subreddits for a long time, and people are still complaining about it on the subreddit almost exclusively. I think pure orcust is completely fine. It's not like a completely broken deck, but it's pretty powerful. I reckon that KONAMI might still want to nerf it because they want to sell more product. Look out for, I don't know, Sky Strikers in the next mini box. Wow, that's gonna be fun. Anyway, here's how I would like this nerf to orcust to be done if possible. You put Harp Horror and Orcust Nightmare to 3. That prevents you from accessing limited 3 staples. Also prevents you from like playing orcust alongside another archetype that has archetypal cards at limited 3. And it still mostly keeps pure orcust intact. Can only play one Orcust Nightmare or one Harp Horror, but that's fine. That does reduce a bit the consistency of your deck, and also gives players that struggle against orcust a clear card to target for like disruption, interruption, DD Crow. Also free scrap recycler if you're gonna do this. Like, how is it that scrap recycler was put on the ban list twice for two completely different decks just because it's a foolish burial on legs? Like, it's insane that this got us to suffer for so long just because machine decks tend to be occasionally good. This guy did nothing wrong. Please protect him. I will do so with my life. Speedroids. I hate this deck. I hate this deck a lot. I hate playing against this deck. I hate playing this deck because sometimes you open like 3 tuners, your draw full turn is the 4th tuner, so you can't do anything with it. That's not fun. That's not a fun deck. The way I see it, there's basically 2 ways to hit this deck. You can either hit some of the cards or take a shot at the skill. You probably shouldn't do both because that would probably be a bit too much. I'd rather they just destroy the skill. Oh, we'll see how they do it. If they're gonna hit some cards, here's how I think they should do them. Both Dendaiko Duke and double Yo-Yo at limited 3. They're both extenders in their own way. You can still send one Dendaiko Duke to grave with the double Yo-Yo, but you don't get one Dendaiko Duke to use for the duel, because I presume you're gonna play 2 double Yo-Yo, 1 Duke. So you gotta be careful with it. You're still sometimes gonna be able to make like the boards that you're able to make now, but you're not gonna have nearly as good as the follow-up, which I think is really important. Like, that's the proper way to tackle this very aggressive deck, in my opinion. Or you could take a shot at the skill. This is the nerf that I'm proposing. If you can't be bothered to read the whole thing, I'm just gonna tell you what I've changed. First of all, if you're summoning red-eye dice, you can only have one special summon for the rest of the turn. This is so you basically have to choose between a diverse board of synchro negators, synchro disruptors, and crystal wing paths. That might be a bit over the board. I just think that crystal wing plus clear wing setup are not the most fun to be facing. The second thing I changed is that now you have to return a card from your hand to your deck if you want a foolish burial or turn a kite drake into a clear wing. I think that's really important. You shouldn't just be able to OTK super easily at no cost. Basically, the Kite Drake line keeps a lot of like weaker decks out of the game entirely. Not even rogue level, like out of the game. Like, it's genuinely not even playable anymore. But I don't know, I just think that skills should have some cost and restrictions attached to them. Am I crazy for thinking this? I think skills should not just be free. Speaking of which, Oddies. This is another one of these decks that I hate. But I think the issue with this deck is that you can shove any number of archetypes that you want in it and call it a day. And I really hope that KONAMI does the sensible thing and hits the skill instead of the cards, as they have done in the past, which was like the worst decision ever made. Just nerf bonds. Anyway, here's my proposed nerf for Raging Pendulum. At the beginning of the duel, okay, that was a joke, but for real, here's my proposed nerf to Raging Pendulum. All I did was include a restriction that prevents you from playing anything other than Performer Pals, Odd Eyes, and Magician Pendulum monsters. It's like, that's all you needed to have in order for this to be good. Also, I just realized that I didn't write this properly. I wanted to include Performer Pal and Odd Eyes monsters, but the way that I've written this makes it seem like you'd only play Pendulum Performer Pals and Pendulum Odd Eyes monsters. It's not my intention. Hope nobody gets rung up over this. If I see one comment pointing it out, I'm gonna be very mad. I'm gonna be really, really mad. Anyway, this basically kills a lot of variants of the deck. Oh no, you can't play Trickster Candina anymore. So who cares? It's basically, like, this skill is basically just power creep Xian Magicians anyway. If you're gonna be able to produce the same endboards as Xian Magicians but more consistently, this should probably have some kind of restriction on it. I don't know, it's just my opinion though. Other decks! Should we be hitting decks like Trickstars and Rockets and Destiny Heroes and us? No. These decks are fine, they're not, like, doing anything too broken or annoying or anything. If you think Trickstar is like a problem deck, it's not. It's really not. It's really that easy to get rid of. Same with Rockets. Like, Rockets is a really good deck, but it's not nearly as powerful as you make it seem to be. Redditors. Also, we should completely remove these two skills from the game. Unhits! Okay, so I legit think that you could remove a bunch of cards from the ban list and that'd have no impact on the game whatsoever. Like, nothing would change for the metagame. Like all of these cards, for instance. Try to argue that any one of those immediately unlimited would do something so game-breaking that it can't be allowed. Oh no, you can play Trishula in alongside a Croc Dragon, but like, if you're gonna summon one, probably not gonna be able to have the resources to summon the other, you know? Oh no, what are Fireflux and Pinch Helper going to do to the game? If Performer Pal ends up being like this stall strategy, it's not the worst thing that's gonna happen to the game this year. Like, what are Ritual Beasts to do with like 3 Elders and when to search them? Make Ulti Leo and run into Clearwing and lose the game? Yeah, right. Why is Rhinoceros even limited 2 anymore? Like, what's the point of the limited 2 list? Every good card is on limited 3 now. You'll notice that I did not include Invoke Casitis in this list, because I'm not a psychopath. Speaking of good cards being on the limited 3 list, I think it's time that Econ was made playable again. Like, right now, there are very few decks in which you'd rather play Econ than, say, Allure of Darkness, or Rota, or Super Poly, or Monster Reborn even. But I think Econ is on the same-ish power level as cards like Crackdown or Compulse. It's below Ice Dragon's Prison because Ice Dragon's Prison is the single stupidest card ever added to the game. But I think it'd be like completely fine to give budget players another way to disrupt their opponents that is easily accessible and rather fun to experiment with. I think Enemy Controller totally deserves to be limited 3, not unlimited because it's still a really good card, but it has been limited 2 for most of it Duel Link's lifespan, so why can't it be moved to limited 3 now? Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching the video. If you agree, disagree, just argue with yourselves, I don't care. Thanks for watching once again. I'll see you guys and gals and non-binary pals next time.